Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurin Shamimi binti Zulkifli.
So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for having me. My name is Muhammad Muaz As-Sadiq bin Siddiq Al-Amini.
My name is Muhammad ASHRAF bin Mazuki.
My name is Muhammad Famfai.
My name is Sarah Helwahani binti Zukut 9.
So my name is Aida Sakina bin Abdul Karim. You may call me Aida.
Personally, I feel like I do pay enough attention in class, but my attention span is rather very short. This is because I get distracted very easily with things that are happening around me. So I rely a lot on lecturers to grab my attention and maintain it. This can happen when they use their intonation, their emotion, or different body language. This can help me focus.
In my opinion, I do pay enough attention in our class. This is because when teacher usually asks for volunteers, if they want someone to answer the question, I usually raise my hand until the teacher said, "Okay, Muaz, stop. Other people, please." Okay, so I do think that by interacting with the teacher, I can improve myself in my study.
I do not think I pay enough attention in class because if I do, I will probably get ace all my papers because my result is not very good. And my focus on the class depends on whether it's my favorite subject or not. I prefer subjects like linguistic subjects like BM and English, while subjects that involve analytical and problem-solving skill like mathematics and science, I have less preference, but I like biology most of them also. I focus in a lot in bio class.
Okay. I think it's enough that I'm paying attention, but sometimes that I have some sleepy things in my right head. So by that, I need to focus on myself on that group.
For me, it kind of depends. If it kind of depends basically on like what we're learning and how like the teacher is teaching us. If it's like we're learning about something interesting or a topic that I find intriguing, then I'll be more prone to pay attention to it. And if like the teacher is very interactive with class, it causes us or me to like interact more with the teacher, which makes me more focused in class and focus on what we're talking and learning. So combine the two, then I'll be pretty focused.
Yes, I think I pay enough attention in class, but because I think it helps to me to understand the material that have been taught by the lecturer, and also, but I must say that sometimes it's hard for me to stay focused because sometimes the class is not that engaging or maybe not that interactive for me. Yeah.
Personally, I think the best characteristic of a good teacher is first, being able to educate. Because teaching is limited in the classroom. However, being able to educate goes beyond the classroom. When teaching the material, everybody can do that, but being able to educate is when you relate the materials to real life scenarios, giving general knowledge and input that makes the student understand better. The next characteristic that I think is important is being approachable. When a teacher is approachable, a student is more confident and more comfortable to approach the teacher and ask questions, get more knowledge than just what are being taught. So I think those are the two main important characteristics.
In my opinion, a great characteristic that a good teacher can have is that they can guide you until you master that topic without making you feel like an idiot. For example, if you can't answer a question, they can guide you step by step until you can identify and analyze where you make the mistake and you can improve yourself in the future.
The characteristic of a good teacher for me is who does not complain when they have to teach some student, because I observed that some students doesn't get what the teacher is teaching at first lesson, so they often have to ask again and again to really get into their mind. But not all teachers are really patient, and some teachers complain when they have to teach the same lessons again and again to only one student. So I think characteristics of a good teacher is one of them. Should be patient. And secondly, characteristics of a good teacher for me is passionate, and you can see that they really love teaching the subject and not just for the sake of working, and they really want to teach the children and the kids to be good at the subject they're teaching at.
The characteristic that a good teacher that we need to have is firstly about the responsibility, which is the teachers need to answer all of the students' questions. Simple, and sometimes need the students understand what he or she is saying.
A few main characteristics for me that makes a good teacher is being kind, patient, and understanding. Because with these characteristics, it makes it much easier for a teacher and a student to basically have a relationship. It makes it easier for a teacher to connect with students, and makes it much more easier for the teacher to understand students, especially in scenarios where maybe a student is struggling in class, or a student hasn't finished their work. It makes it much more easier for the students to approach the teacher.
I think the characteristic of a good teachers is more to the teachers being more patient if they teach the students, and also the teacher that can give enough attention to their students. Maybe asking the students if they understand the things that they teach, and they should also be supportive and make the class feel more comfortable.
Speaking from experience, when I did not understand a certain material, I would like to ask a question and get an answer immediately. So I think the best way is to have a Q&A session, call it question and answer session, in the middle of the class. Because if we move on to another chapter, I will forget and I will not understand the material at all. So speaking from experience, Miss Najwa has actually helped me during class when I asked her a question, and she answered right away, even though I do interrupt her a little bit.
Alright, so usually in my class, during the end of the topic or something, my teacher will open up sessions for to ask if anyone have some question, if they might not understand something about the topic. So I'll benefit that session to uh, to identify what I'm not mastered yet, and during that session, I'll make sure that I ask what I don't understand yet.
Based on my experience, when I do not understand something, I ask my teacher. They often show me how to do it, but first I have to figure out the initial steps to solve the problem. But the problem is, I myself don't know how to start to solve the problem, so it's quite a problem to do the homeworks if you don't know how to do the first step. So it would be better if the teacher teach from A to Z instead of just asking students to remember what they have learned, and let them do the work. And next, some teachers offer explanations, but I don't like explanation. I prefer the perfect example on how to solve the exact questions.
My teacher usually provide me something about a paper, which is a job sheet or anything, examples of a works paper, which is on the paper the explanation of the notes or anything about keynotes.
For me personally, I will seek guidance from my teacher, usually after class or during a time where both me and the teacher are free. Usually the teacher will try the best to their extent to simplify whatever we're learning. Maybe they'll shorten whatever like the text say in the books, or maybe they'll in certain situations they'll show visual things, maybe a picture or a video, to make it much more easier for me to understand.
Maybe usually if I don't understand the things that I learn, I just directly ask the question to my teacher, and the teacher usually just try to explain it in a different way. Maybe they visualize it, and also to make it more clearer. And if I still don't understand, they will try to encourage me, and also maybe like doing like a consultation after class to like talk in person to explain it more details.
Okay, so you think the way that you ask or the way that you put it is effective for you?
Yes, I think it's very effective for me. I could understand it more because when in this class it is like general.
For me, the most effective instructional method is discussion. This is because in a discussion, I get to be myself, not just as a student, but as a person who has their own opinions. I get to voice out my arguments and my opinions to the lecturer. And when the lecturer responds back with feedbacks and counterattacks to my arguments, I actually understand the materials better and I can remember it well.
In my opinion, the best way for me to pursue to study is by making notes and interacting with the teacher. This is because I do fall asleep quite quickly, and if I don't do it by myself, I might fall asleep. So in this way, I can be active in class while keeping myself not burn out.
The best instructional works best for me, I think, should be games generally, but specifically pop quizzes, because it really challenges you and keep you up to date on your current knowledge on the certain subject. And when it's even better when it's a surprise quiz, so you can know whether you are focusing in class or you're not.
The most effective is the interacting learning, which is the teacher provide me about the exercises, the examples, or anything else, and also about the keynotes and notes that he given to me, so I can take that thing to be my studying or research on that subjects.
Me personally, I much prefer when we're learning and and when we're learning there's like visual stuff, maybe like a video, a picture, anything visualized, because I'm a visual thinker. So when we're learning and there's just like maybe the teachers are reading out of a book or just explaining it, I find it a bit difficult for me to understand compared to if like a picture or a video is involved. It makes it much more easier for me to comprehend what we're learning.
I think more to if the teacher can manage on giving like activity to their students, maybe give if they taught something, they give like activities to their student to do rather than just hear what the teacher taught. Sometimes I get boring by that, so maybe teachers can give out like activities, make the class more interactive.
First of all, I think punishment is an effective way to change behavior if it is solely for educational purposes. For example, giving extra exercises to students who did not attend class or does some problem in class. But if it's a physical or mental punishment, I think that is not relevant since it is quite embarrassing to be called out in front of your friends. And apart from that, rewards are also very good to give motivations to us students. if done moderately, like giving compliments.
Alright, so in my perspective, I think that punishment is a good way to change one's behavior. This is because if we want to show someone if that is something wrong, that is something that you can't do, we need to show him or her the drawback of that thing. For example, if we didn't finish our homework, of course there would be punishment because our teacher have already given our the assignment for us to finish.
Personally, I don't think that punishment is a good way to change someone's behavior because based on my own experience, I've seen people who have been reprimanded on occasions, numerous occasions, but they still haven't changed their attitude, probably because they grew to hate the subject and start to be rebellious and not doing the stuff they have been asked to. To be an alternative to punishment, I think there should be a one-to-one personal session to get really know their problem instead of just reprimanding the students in general.
On this perspective, which is the punishment, I give that the punishment is the more effective, but somehow one of us today, which is 50% or 40% of us, doesn't like to be the I think about the punishment. So I think that these generations need to be given about the rewards, so make the students to be more motivated, or actually some give them about the improvement of themselves, so they want about the rewards.
Me personally, it kind of depends. I think that punishment is an effective way, but not all punishments. Like for example, I don't think like class punishments are really good. Specifically, what I mean is, it's not fair. It's unfair, especially for the students that haven't done anything wrong. Because one student does wrong and everyone like gets a punishment, it's very like unfair to the students that weren't doing anything wrong because it was something that is out of their control. And I think a good type of punishment is maybe like the student that does wrong getting punished, because it's kind of common knowledge that like humans try to like fit in most of the time. So when a person is being punished all by themselves for what they did, they'll stand out from the rest. So they'll try to fit in with the rest, maybe by like correcting their behavior or doing good, etc.
In some cases, it's good to have a punishment, but it shouldn't be the only method that you should use. Maybe like positive reinforcement, like praising the student good behavior or work better in a long run, because it motivates students to improve rather than just avoid punishment. Maybe if you give like a punishment to that student, they will just remember the bad things from their teacher. So maybe have a positive engagement with the student is way more better than if punishment.
So your opinion is the teacher must not to behave and not to stay.
Yeah.
So yeah, the teacher must have to convey and understand the students.
Yes, it's more like that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay,